Normal autumn weather has arrived across the southeastern region. Will quiet weather continue as we transition into winter? Are we headed into a drought? Jeff and Chris will bring insight and information to help answer these questions and more in the Southeast U.S. edition of the Water Resources Outlook.
So let us start with the past precipitation as we always do, and here are the 30-day departures from normal. And we see that October was pretty dry across most of the southeast. October is typically a dry month, so with the departures of 1 to 3 inches you see there in parts of the southeast, we can imagine that this October has been especially dry. Looking at 90-day departures, now we are looking at roughly August through October, and again we can see after a very wet spring and summer, the late summer and early fall have been dry across the region, though not significantly dry, but on the drier side. So how has this affected stream flows? The lag in stream flows is showing here, as we see most stream flows are in the normal range across the southeast, even though most areas have been drier than normal. The wet summer is keeping stream flows in the normal range, given the typical early fall dry period. However, as we go into early winter, stream flows will decline into the below normal range if the rainfall trends persist. With that being said, drought conditions are not being observed at this time, but we are seeing the abnormally dry conditions, aerial coverage, increase slightly, and that's in the yellow locations you see there. Chris will give us an idea on the short-term meteorology next, and I will be back to give some long-range feel for stream flows after that.
All right, we're going to begin the period with a cold front moving across the southeast and rainfall associated with that front. As we go through the day on Friday, this front's going to continue to move eastward towards the coast. By Saturday, we should expect to see some amounts still right along the coast, but we're going to have high pressure building in behind that front. And by Sunday, most of the area should be dry. As we go into the midterm period, we're going to see this area of high pressure persist, and that ridge is going to be building. We're going to see mainly coastal rain during the mid-period, but it looks like by the end of it, towards Thursday, we're going to see our next system enter the area. Really, after this front goes through, it's going to be pretty much dry until that next system arrives. Since that is still a week out, I didn't draw any areas specifically here for that system next Thursday, but it should be a similar setup to what we're seeing this week with that cold front moving in first into Alabama and then headed out towards the coast. Total basin precipitation then for that 7-day period, we're going to see widespread light to moderate amounts, and this again is primarily associated with that front that we're getting early in the period. Can't rule out some isolated heavy or extreme amounts. There are going to be some thunderstorms embedded in there, but mainly we're going to be seeing light to moderate amounts. Looking into the long-term period, we can expect to see above normal precipitation amounts across the western portion of the area, especially over Alabama, and near normal amounts further east. This is mainly due to the fact that we're seeing in the long-term guidance a long wave trough over or near Alabama, and so better support for precipitation west rather than further east.
So here's the latest Climate Prediction Center forecast for November, and we see no real signal or better chance for one of the 3 precipitation categories of below, near normal, or above, with the exception of parts of Mississippi and Alabama, where the Tombigbee and Alabama River basins have a slightly better chance at above normal precipitation during the month. Now we see the forecast for November through January, and we see the latest forecasts have a slightly better chance for below normal precipitation across a good portion of the southeast, as you see here. This forecast holds into January, into the January to March forecast as well from the Climate Prediction Center. And as you can imagine, the ENSO plays a big role in the long-term forecasts, especially in the southeast. And the latest forecast models continue to indicate ENSO neutral conditions, as seen here, with the most of the ensemble model members staying close to the zero line through the winter and early spring period, with possibly some warming as we go further into the future. So what does this neutral mean to our stream flows? In November, here are the analog years for Novembers, in which we had neutral conditions going back to 1950. And we see the pie charts here indicate the percentage of the total neutral events where the stream flows fell in the lower, middle, or upper tertiary of the stream flow values. So the past tells us that there is no strong signal to stream flows given the neutral ENSO conditions. However, we can see that there are a greater percentage of below normal stream flow events across maybe the Florida Peninsula there relative to the above or near normal values. Now looking at December neutral ENSO events, and we see no clear indication of where stream flows may fall, which is typical with precipitation and ENSO neutral conditions. Again, we may see some slight below normal signal there in the St. Johns, the Kissimmee, Lake Okeechobee, and the Suwannee River basins, but most other areas is very difficult to say right now based on the pie charts that you see there. So given all this, as well as CPC forecasts and 90-day ensemble stream flow prediction forecasts, so given all this, as well as the CPC forecasts and our 90-day ensemble stream flow prediction forecast, what is our best guess for long-term stream flows? Right now, given what it looks like most areas will remain near normal, with some areas trending into below normal as far as long-term mean stream flows as we go into early winter. Some areas may see drought develop as well, as seen here in the latest drought forecast provided by the Climate Prediction Center. So we will continue to try to examine the situation as we head into the primary winter recharge period and provide you with not only meteorological information tied to water resources, but also we hope to provide more hydrologically based water resource information in the coming water resource outlooks. Please do not hesitate to let us know why you find the Water Resource Outlook presentation valuable to you and what other products, current or future, you would like to see. So just to recap, dry weather overall in the near term, which is typical this time of year. In the long term, normal rainfall and normal stream flows are expected in most areas. We'll have to watch dry weather in Florida and South Georgia for drought development in the long term.
Thank you for listening to this week's edition of the Water Resources Outlook. Remember, you can find much of this information at our website at weather.gov/SERFC. Also, come and visit our Facebook page where we will provide notifications of products we issue. Also, feel free to comment and pass that information along. And if you have any questions or comments, please contact me at the email address todd.hamill@noaa.gov.